Welcome to Real Estate Investing Abundance, the show for busy, fulfilled professionals like you to learn how to develop financial independence built on solid, passive real estate investments. Now, here is your host, Dr. Alan Lomax.
Hello, enlightened investors. Welcome back to Real Estate Investing Abundance. I'm your host, Dr. Alan, and we're glad that you are with us today. We're going to take a look today at the amazing power of the solo 401k, and we have with us the expert in this particular area of 401ks. Dmitriy Fomichenko is the founder and president of Sense Financial Services, and which is a boutique financial firm specializing in self-directed retirement accounts with checkbook control. And he began doing this in 2000. And so he has about 24 years of experience in this. And he knows the rules and the regulations backwards and forwards. And although the rules and regulations are not particularly onerous, they are important to know. And so I'm glad that Dmitry is here to fill us in on all this. Dmitry is a returning guest. He has been with us before about 3 years ago. So I'm very honored to have Dmitry back with us. So Dmitry, just take us into the show and tell us what is a solo 401k and what differentiates a solo plan from a typical 401k.
Sure. Well, Alan, first of all, thank you for having me back on the show. It is an honor. It's my honor to be back and have this conversation with you. But solo 401k, just as the name implies, specifically was designed for those individuals who are either self-employed or own a business without full-time employees. So you can have employees with the solo 401k plan. However, your spouse can participate. So it's designed for business owners and spouses, while solo means, one individual, one participant. And in many cases, that is the case. Mm-hmm. It's just a solo 401k with one participant. We, about 25% of the time or more, we do set up 401k plans where it's two participants, mm-hmm. Two spouses, or sometimes two partners in the same business. Doesn't have to be a spouse. It can be a business partner. So we've done that as well. But again, it's designed specifically for those people who are self-employed or own a business. And because it does not cover employees, they're a lot easier to administer and to maintain comparing to your full-blown 401k plan. So and the main reason people come to us, it has a couple of main benefits. Number one, ability to shelter significant portions. So there is a high contribution limit over 70,000. We can get into more details on that. And number two, the solo 401k plans that we provide for our clients, they are open architecture plans, meaning that you do have the ability to invest in alternative assets. You're not locked up with traditional, stocks and mutual funds.
Is that unusual for other 401k plans? Are they restricted in terms of what you can invest in?
Yes, the custodian of the 401k plan has the power to limit your investment choices. So if you go to just the mainstream institutions, Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, Merrill Lynch, and so on, those custodians, they do limit the investment choices because you're using their platform as a custodian. They have that power. IRS gives them that power to limit the investment choices because their platform is set up for traditional investments, mutual funds and stocks. And they do limit, if you have an account with one of those institutions, you only will be able to invest in those investments that are offered by those institutions.
Okay. Well, one other question I have here, since these are solo 401k accounts, and so it is for business people and entrepreneurs who are the only person in their operation. So you can't have an employee. So I'm assuming that if you grow the business to the point where you need to hire employees or decide to hire employees, that you can probably roll this over into a more traditional account. But take us through that. Is that correct, or what happens to the solo 401k when you decide to hire?
Yeah. So if you grow your business and you become no longer eligible for solo 401k, and that happens. It does happen sometimes. It's probably something that you need to think through a little bit ahead of time before setting up the plan. There is an exit. The exit is there, but if you're starting a business and you think that you will be hiring employees within a year or next couple of years, then there might be other options that you might want to consider. But if you're many of my clients, real estate agents, that's just one example. So real estate agents, they're self-employed, they're either sole proprietor, just using their own name to sell real estate, or they might be incorporated. They might have a corporation and they run a business in the corporation. Either way, it's going to work. And most of them, they never hire employees. They may have independent contractors, maybe some assistants. They may outsource some of the work that they need help with, but they never have a desire to actually grow and get the employees. So for most people, that is not the issue. But if that happens, then yeah, there is once you hire an employee who's over a certain threshold, and that threshold, easy to remember, is 500 hours. That's what you need to remember. You can actually have part-time employees working under 500 hours a year. So then you'll be fine. And that's really part-time. But if you get employees over that threshold, then by law, you will be obligated to offer retirement benefits to them as well. If you have a 401k plan, you must offer retirement benefits to your employees as well. And solo 401k simply is not capable to accommodate employees. So you will have to switch. And there's a couple of options. If you kind of outgrow the solo 401k, you can either switch to like a full-blown 401k that you can include employees. The challenge with that, though, is that with solo 401k plans that we do, they do allow you to invest in alternative assets. So many of our clients, they invest in real estate. They, whether it's buying single family rentals in their 401ks, or maybe investing in a commercial real estate, investing in syndications, doing private lending using your 401k as a bank. That's a great way to invest. I personally like to do that. My preferred way of investing my retirement money. So if you do have alternative investments, then switching to like a full-blown 401k is not going to be able to accommodate your alternative investments. So you can, because again, you won't be able to do that with just a full, it's called the, forgetting the term, but if in plan that accommodates employees, you won't be able to self-direct it into alternative assets. But what you can do is you can actually set up a self-directed IRA, and you can move your 401k alternative assets into a self-directed IRA at that point. So yeah, there is an exit plan. There are possible options, but again, if you think that you will have employees in the near future, then solo 401k might not be the best fit for you. But it's each individual situation is different. So it's I normally, when I consult with clients, I would like to put myself in their shoes and kind of see what I will do. So I'll give you that opinion based on your particular situation.
Well, you had mentioned at least one of the benefits is the ability to shelter your capital. Give us a little more information on what you mean by that, and what are the other benefits to the solo 401k?
Well, Alan, good question. Good question. And what comes to mind to me immediately, actually, I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about the conversation I had with a guy yesterday. Okay. Trying to remember how did we meet. I think he found me on Bigger Pockets and reached out to me. So this guy, I'm trying to remember his details. What does he do? He's self-employed. He actually had a solo 401k. He had a solo 401k, but he wasn't getting really the service. And so just after 10 minutes talking with the guy, I showed him how he can save at least $30,000 in taxes a year, at least, probably more than that. And so, I'm not going to get into his situation here in details, but to segue into the just amazing powers of the solo 401k, as you said in the beginning, is the ability to be a great tax shelter. A solo 401k currently for this year, 2024, it enables you to contribute up to $69,000 a year. Okay. Wow. And then if you're over 50, then you have additional $7,500 in catch up, making that $76,500. So let's just use a round number, $70,000. If you are self-employed or own a business and you're doing well, assuming you're doing well, if you're just, barely making by and you don't have any discretionary income, there might not be a great benefit to you. But if you're doing well, and I talk to those people every single day that self-employed or in business, again, I was just talking to my daughter just before getting on with you, Alan. And she is a senior at high school, and she's doing this consumer math class, and she basically they're going over life insurance policies, and we got to talk about just being a real estate agent. And I gave her an example. If you sell $1 million house and you make 4% commission on that, that's $40,000. Okay. If you do that once a month, you sell a house once a month, that's $500,000. So it's not uncommon for real estate agents to make a few $100,000 a year. So if you're in that situation, you can easily bring your spouse on board to help you in your business, and you can double that contribution. So 70,000 times 2, that's $140,000. Now, let me break it down for you. So if you're making, let's say $300,000 in income net, okay, and you're paying taxes on that, you're probably close to 40% tax bracket. So do the math, how much you're paying in taxes on that amount. Now, what if you set up a solo 401k, you added your spouse, and then you were able to shelter $140,000 of your self-employed income from taxes? Now, what happens immediately, instead of paying taxes on $300,000, you're paying taxes on $160,000. You slashed your income almost in half. Now, what's that going to do to your tax bracket? Well, it's going to lower it, maybe a couple of brackets down. So you're immediately saving on the percentage wise, and you're saving, on half of the amount that you're sheltering from taxes. So if you were to maximize the contributions, you can easily save $50,000 just as a family, easily. $50,000 easy savings. Okay, so again, it is a great tax shelter. But number two, this money that you now contribute, 70 plus 70 for you and your spouse, you've got $140,000 in your solo 401k. And instead of dumping that into the stock market that honestly, Alan, you and I and your listeners, none of us, we have control over the stock market, right? We're at mercy of that. We, might implement some strategies and hope it will do well, but ultimately we have no control. Well, what if you took that money and you invested in just a promissory note? You did the private loan with that. Your investment is secured by real property. You get a 12% interest on your money guaranteed by that contract, and your money is growing. You get a return on your money every single month. I mean, it's a very stable return. Again, I do that myself. So those are just some of the. It's mind blowing. Every time I get to talk about this, I get excited because, I mean, I've been doing this for solo 401ks almost 14 years now, and it's mind blowing. It's hard to believe it exists. Even I've done it for thousands of people. I mean, it's so amazing.
Enlightened investors, if you haven't done so already, be sure and click that like button and also click that share so others can take advantage of the content. And finally, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one of our upcoming episodes. Well, another question that just came to mind here. A lot of people are former employers who they had a 401k plan with. And so now they have the ability to take that 401k and they can self-direct it. Can they take that 401k and put it into a solo 401k if they are now a self-employed individual?
Absolutely, Alan. Yes, if you have a 401k from the previous employer, you can roll that over into a solo 401k. If you have a 403b or a 457 or some kind of a pension plan, any retirement plan that is employer sponsored, if it's from the former employer, you can move that. Sometimes you can even move it from the current employer, although there are limitations to that, but that's also maybe possible at times. And if you have an IRA, traditional IRA, SEP IRA, simple IRA, you can move that as well. The only restriction as of right now, the only restriction is a Roth IRA. If you do have a Roth IRA, you cannot move that to a solo 401k, even though solo 401k does have the Roth component, but IRS right now does not allow you to move Roth IRA to 401k. However, there is currently legislation that is being proposed to allow Roth IRA to be moved to the employer plan. So that might change, and I hope it will change, because that's going to be, there are possible couple of drawbacks to that, but the benefits way outweigh those drawbacks. So I think it's going to be a great change if that will happen, in fact.
Well, if you do have a Roth IRA, you can convert your Roth IRA to a traditional IRA, can you not?
You can't. Well, you can do the other way around. You can convert traditional to Roth and pay taxes on that. You can go.
You can't do the other way. Okay.
Because the money in the Roth IRA already been taxed. So you don't want to go to the pre-tax status because you already paid taxes on that. But what you can do, Alan, is you can take your Roth IRA, and again, as of right now, you can't move that to a solo 401k, but you can set up a self-directed Roth IRA. And so you can still self-direct those funds. You still be able to invest those funds in alternative assets just using a self-directed Roth IRA.
Right. Okay. That just seems like such a strange regulation, but some of these things are just that way. Well, any other benefits? I mean, that's tremendous just in and of itself, but are there any other benefits to the solo 401k?
Well, actually, Alan, I think I just thought about something, and I think with solo 401k, you can do a lot of things. There's a lot of freedom. You can invest and you can control those funds, but there are some restrictions, and it's very important to understand the restrictions. And the restrictions are as follows. You cannot, there's only one investment that essentially is not allowed for the solo 401k or to invest. IRS says that you cannot invest in collectibles, such as collectible coins, collectible artwork, collectible rocks. Probably your listeners probably not thinking about those anyways, but it's important that you understand the collectibles are not allowed investment in your 401k.
So art is considered a collectible?
Some artwork, yeah. Maybe not necessarily all the artwork, but some of the artwork, if it's, and I'm not the one who makes that determination, so you have to probably figure that out on your own. But if it is considered collectible, then you cannot invest with your 401k funds in that. And then in addition to that collectible restriction, there is a disqualified person. And disqualified person is the account owner. So it's yourself, your spouse, your kids and grandkids and their spouses, your parents and grandparents. So if you think of this, it's a vertical line. It's kind of easy to remember, vertical line. You can actually go sideways. So your brother, your sister, your uncle, cousin, those are not considered a disqualified person, but vertical line, immediate family members are considered disqualified, and IRS says that your 401k cannot engage in any transaction with disqualified person. So let me give you an example. I used already example of being a real estate agent. So if you're a real estate agent and you set up a solo 401k and you consider in buying investment property in your 401k, you cannot represent your 401k in that transaction. So you cannot be the agent, because you actually will break the rule twice. Number one, you're providing the service to the 401k. As a disqualified person, you're not allowed to engage in the transaction with your 401k. So that's a first violation. And number two, as a result of that transaction, you will receive commission. And that will be a second violation. So that's why it has to be arm's length transaction. Neither you nor immediate family members cannot be involved in the transaction with a retirement account. Maybe another example, if you are like to buy fixer-uppers and get them kind of in a nice shape and get them rented out and reap the benefits of that. Well, if you used to do the work yourself, if you have a solo 401k, you're not allowed to do any work, because again, you are a disqualified person. You will have to outsource all the work that is needed to unrelated third parties. Again, that could be your cousin possibly, but it cannot be your father. If your father owns a construction company, you cannot hire your father's construction company because he is a disqualified person, and the business that he owns is also a disqualified person. So now you have full control over. And the example that I like to give is a blue-collar worker versus a white-collar worker. So a white-collar worker is someone who is in a white shirt and a tie, sitting at the desk, on the phone, on their computer, just doing the work at their desk. This kind of work you can do. The administrative work you can do yourself. So you can pay the bills for your 401k, you can interview contractors, and you can decide who you're going to hire to do work. But a blue collar is someone who's actually working on the production floor, on the factory floor, using their hands. So you can go and replace a door lock on your rental of your 401k, or you can go and paint the walls. That will be considered a prohibited transaction. And you know what? I'm going to give you another illustration. I think I like to use those illustrations because I think they make sense. Sometimes I talk to somebody and they say, "Well, you know what? I don't like this restriction. I can be involved personally. I don't like that. I'm not sure if I want to do this." And then I like to use this illustration. Well, I'm sure you have a driver's license and you have a car and you drive that car, right? So when you get off your house and you need to go somewhere, you get in your car and you pull off the driveway, right? You have to obey traffic signals or traffic rules. You have to stay on the right side of the street. You have to when you pull before the stop sign, you have to stop, right? When there is a red light, you also have to stop. Even if you're turning right, you have to stop first and then turn right. And you're not going to say, hey, I don't like those traffic rules. Screw that. I'm going to throw away my driver's license. I'm going to, donate my car. I'm going to walk instead. Would you do that? That will be foolish. You won't do that. Yeah, even though you obey, the traffic rules might maybe slow you down a little bit, but you're going to make much more progress by driving your vehicle and obeying the traffic rules than by walking. That will be foolish, to exchange, just to go and walk instead. So you don't do that. You just obey. You probably understand most of the rules. There is a reason for them, right? When you come to red light, you stop, because if you don't, well, the base case scenario, you're going to get pulled over and you're going to get a ticket. But the worst case scenario is you're going to get killed, or you're going to get somebody else killed. So you do want to obey those rules. And the same thing here, rather than complaining about certain restrictions, and there is only a few restrictions. It's not like there is a ton, there's only a few limitations there. I tell people, rather than complaining about those restrictions, you embrace the rules. You understand them, embrace them, and you can do so much. It gives you so much power. You can do a lot more by actually driving that vehicle than just walking. And walking is your regular IRA or 401k that you have at Vanguard. It's like, it's very slow progress there. You can do a lot more with self-directed account.
Yeah. Excellent illustration there. We got time for just one more question here. Explain to us what you mean by a checkbook account.
Well, checkbook controls means that when we establish a solo 401k, it's set up as a trust. There is no custodian like, Vanguard or Fidelity. Those institutions, they're custodians and they have custody of your funds. So when you want to make an investment, you go to them and then you instruct them what to do, and then they make that investment on your behalf of your IRA or 401k. With solo 401k, it's set up as a trust. You become the trustee. Trust is a separate legal entity. Trust is used as a funding mechanism for your 401k. So as a trustee, you will be able to open a business checking account in the name of your 401k at the bank, and that's where the funds will reside. So you can keep them in your personal checking account and your business account. It has to be separate for the 401k. So you literally will have a checking account for your 401k, and you as a trustee will control that. So you'll be able to, when you want to make an investment, you can literally make that investment as simple as writing a check, or nowadays, writing a check is not very common, but you can either, send a wire transfer online, which is, just pretty much as simple as writing a check. That's what it means.
Yeah. Well, Dmitry, wonderful having you back with us. Before we go here, just tell our audience how to find you and really just sum up what your services are.
Well, you can connect with me on our website, sensefinancial.com, and sense is like common sense, SENSE, because what we're talking about just makes sense here. You can also find me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Bigger Pockets, Instagram, Twitter. I have pretty unique name. So if you just copy my name and search, you'll find me there. And I would like to connect with you and chat, help you. But I actually just very quickly, I just turned 50, and I was just thinking about this kind of milestone. And, I still see doing this for the next 20 years. And my goal is to help 10,000 people build 7-figure retirement accounts over the next 20 years. So I'm committed helping you. I want to do. I don't have to do it. financially independent. I can, retire now, but hey, I love what I'm doing, and I will continue to do that for the next 20 years or so, Lord willing. But what we do here at Sense Financial is we empower our clients by allowing them to obtain checkbook control over their retirement accounts, whether it's an IRA or 401k. You can have checkbook control over your retirement accounts, and you can control it, and you have much greater flexibility and virtually unlimited investment choices.
So does that make you the custodian, or?
No, we're not a custodian. The client is in the control of their funds. So we actually never touch the client's funds. With 401k, with an IRA, you still need a custodian, and we use a bank for that. But with checkbook control, you'll still have a checking account for your IRA. Custodian is going to be passive. But with 401k, there is no custodian. It's set up as a trust, and you as a trustee control that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dmitry, for being with us again today, and a wealth of information, wonderful plans there for the right person. And enlightened investors, take advantage of this information and drop by and see Dmitry, and you will be glad that you did. Thank you so much for being with us, enlightened investors, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
Thank you.
Enlightened investors, wait, don't go just yet. I just want to remind you about our recently launched webinar that you will not want to miss. If you're at all curious and would like to learn more about how real estate investing can diversify your investment portfolio, alleviate the anxiety associated with Wall Street swings, leverage your 401ks and IRAs to substantially increase the return on your investment, and do all of this with turnkey, hands-off, passive real estate investments, then you'll want to immediately go to steedtalker.com/webinar. In the webinar, we'll also address the common dubious investment schemes that you want to avoid. To access the webinar, go to steedtalker.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you in the webinar.
Thank you for tuning in to Real Estate Investing Abundance, brought to you by Steed Talker Capital, a company working for passionate professionals like you to develop financial independence built on solid, passive real estate investments. As part of our efforts to make the world a better place, Steed Talker Capital contributes to activities and organizations committed to better understand the equine. These endeavors attempt to enhance the human treatment of horses worldwide. Steed Talker Capital, working for a world where all creatures, great and small, flourish abundantly. For resources to develop your financial independence, connect with us at steedtalker.com.